Hello, I'm Jacob Young from the University of Victoria, New Zealand. The work I'm going to be talking about today was done at the University of Otago. So, unfortunately at this point we're all a wee bit too familiar with video conferencing and its various downfalls. It's kind of okay if you just want to have a quick face-to-face conversation or say run a virtual conference, but it kind of breaks down as soon as you want to bring the environment into the conversation, so whether it's for a collaborative task or whether you just want to have the environment as kind of a subject of conversation. So, for example, I just moved into a new flat last week, and say I wanted to show someone around. What I do at the moment is I call them up on Skype, and I'll just kind of walk around and point my camera at stuff. So this isn't really a very engaging experience for you. You've got absolutely no agency in this environment. You've got no control over what you look at. It's just a really passive experience. Like this talk is pre-recorded, but even if this was live, your experience wouldn't change in any way. You're just passively viewing that. Ideally what we'd want is to give you the ability to actually explore this environment yourself. So say you just get out your mobile phone and suddenly you can just obtain your own viewpoints in this environment by moving it around. So suddenly you've got full agency in this space. You can look wherever you want. You can guide the topic of conversation. Say you want to talk about these vegetables or something. Suddenly you have that power. So the usual way to do this is, you'd do something like what Legal's done here and strap a depth camera to an HMD, and as you're walking around you create a scan of the environment, send that over to someone else, and then they can walk around it as if they were really there. Obvious downfall of these kind of desktop based systems is that the area you can explore is limited by the length of your cables. So here you can only go a few meters either direction before you run out of space. Ideally what you want is have this kind of experience available on a mobile phone. Obviously everyone's got one. You've got it on you at all times, so if this experience was available using that, suddenly you can use it wherever and wherever you want. So that's what I've done here. So I've taken a mobile phone with an integrated depth camera and strapped a 360 degree camera to the back of it. Now as you're walking around, it creates a scan of your environment and builds up a 3D point cloud over time. And so you see that's all done in real time, and that's all sent over to a remote partner who can walk around this environment just with their own mobile phone and have their position and facial capture shown on an avatar, so you can have a face-to-face conversation within this reconstructed area. Since it's on a mobile phone, not only can you do this wherever you want, but also suddenly the space that you can explore is completely arbitrarily large. So this is a scan of a 2-story apartment that I made in about 5 minutes. Nice and easy on a mobile phone, but if you tried to do this on a desktop system, it would be quite impractical. You'd have to do maybe one room at a time. It also means you can suddenly take this outside. So say you want to take someone through the botanical gardens or take them on a hike or something. It becomes pretty straightforward now. You just whip out your mobile phone and give it a quick scan. So this kind of 3D scanning obviously has its downsides. You can see the resolution of the environment's pretty low and you have to wait for it to build up. So what I've done is I've taken that 360 degree camera on the back of it, and if the two people having conversation ever inhabit the same space, suddenly you can see the live feed from the 360 degree camera. So now you can see the environment in high resolution and you don't have to wait for it to build up, but only from the same position as where it's being captured from. So as I said, this is all working in real time and with pretty minimal latency. The frame rate only starts to drop if the environment gets too big. And I wanted to see if this was actually a valuable interaction method, if this is something people wanted to use. So I compared it to traditional 360 degree video conferencing, so just purely using the live feed from that 360 degree camera, and compared various forms of presence that were being induced. So spatial presence, the sense that you're really there inside that shared environment, we didn't really see much of a difference there, and that was kind of mainly down to the low resolution of the 3D scans. A lot of the participants said that if the resolution was higher or if it came in quicker, they would have felt more of a sense of presence within that space. Co-presence was kind of surprising, so that's the sense that you're there with someone. But what we found was that we have these arbitrary sized environments that people were exploring, and people would just go off and do their own thing. They would kind of forget that they were having a conversation with someone. Social presence, we did see an increase. So that means that people really were more engaged in the conversation. So we had people complaining when they went back to 360-degree video conferencing that it was just too passive an experience. They felt like they were just watching a video. But then when they were walking around in the 3D, and they felt like they're really engaging with that space, they're really having a rich conversation. And that showed through in our preference ratings. So we asked people which system they preferred for various forms of presence, and there was a tendency to prefer our system just because people felt more engaged. They had, a more rich conversation than they would with just 360 video conferencing. Thank you very much.